good afternoon and welcome to the Everest Curling Club Championships. We are live from the Ottawa Hunt Club in Ottawa, Ontario for draw number 5. Today we're covering a ladies matchup between two undefeated teams, Team Nova Scotia versus Team Yukon. My name is Peter Stesky and I'm your host, and I'm joined in the booth by Samantha Morris III on Team Northern Ontario. Samantha, how's your week going so far?
It's been great so far, Peter. Thank you so much for having me today, and I look forward to seeing another exciting game against two teams that are undefeated, which is excellent. But yeah, can't complain. Smooth sails to Ottawa, and just happy to be here curling.
Speaking as being undefeated, you're off to a 2-0 start.
Yeah.
We had your game here yesterday. You guys controlled the entire game. When's your next game?
Next game is tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're playing the lovely Team Alberta.
Yeah, that'll be a good matchup. They, I believe, won their game earlier today. So, well, thank you for joining me. It's much nicer to have someone I want to talk to in the booth other than having Randy here all the time, right? I mean, that guy, it's hard to carry him. I mean, he lacks knowledge. Nobody knows who he is. It's tough. So
I know. You know what? It's great to see him out and supporting, and especially Everest. I honestly have all good things to say. It's been lovely so far, and can't complain with the curling being able to just be back and on the ice for sure.
So we're going to meet the teams here. Team Nova Scotia curling out of the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax. They're off to a 1-0 start. Their lead is Sarah Kenny. Second, Kathy Donald. Their third, Mandy Grace. And their skip, Selena Thompson. And for Team Yukon, they curl out of the White Horse Curling Club. Their lead, Laura Williamson. Second, Tamara Vandenberg. Their third, Lorna Spanner. And their skip, Lori Eby. You played on this sheet. It was fairly springy yesterday when you played.
Yeah, you know, the ice has been great so far. Can't complain. It's been fairly up to speed, nice and keen. We did notice it going towards the boards a bit more than away from, but that's typical with most sheets. But all in all, it was all around fairly even on both sides. So
yeah, for sure.
Great to play on.
There's been no complaints from the player. I mean, these players are a lot more, they're nicer than the elite level curler. Every time they lose a game, they blame the rocks and the ice. But it's been a great experience this week with the club curlers for sure.
Yeah.
This one's got to curl a hair. Sarah able just to get rid of that stone. Fairly open start. So talk to me about your experience so far. You were a very high level junior player out of Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
But have moved up north. How many times have you been able to play in this championship before?
This is my first time, to be honest. I moved up for school, so decided to focus on that for the first couple years I was up in Thunder Bay, and then this team welcomed me with open arms. They've already been to a previous nationals before COVID. They were playing in Leduc for the club championship, so when they offered me a spot, it was hard to resist.
You were telling me before the game, like the Leduc, they had a lot of fun out there. It was nice and everything, but you said since Everest has been involved, they've really noticed how much this event really caters to the players.
Yeah, just, you know, having Randy here and at our opening ceremonies there, and all the support they've provided us is just phenomenal, and just having their back for those club curlers, you know, that don't have the chance to get in that elite competition. It's been phenomenal. We're so fortunate to have them. I know my teammates have echoed just the difference between the event and the hospitality here. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, the host committee's done a great job. We get full stands again for this draw in the middle of the afternoon. Curling Canada's done a great job. I love the fact that they're streaming it. It's going to be on tsn.ca as well. I'm not sure if you're aware, they're actually showing the live ticker, you know, on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
You noticed that? Yeah. Amazing to have Everest on there. All of your player, like your team name is up there. I remember the first time that happened for me. You've curled before on TSN.
Yeah.
So, like, you must have been jacked your first time you ever played on TSN. For a lot of these curlers, this would be the first time they were ever on national television.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to the Nova Scotia ladies just as they were waiting while their team was practicing there, and they said their nerves were high. They were sweating like they've never sweat before a game, but I just said, hey, just go out there, have fun, forget about it all, and play your game, right? That's all you can do. But
yeah, the mics make it a little different. We were joking around with a player on your team yesterday that she likes to use some language which might not be stream friendly, but she was very under control, but very nervous the whole game. I found it very hard the first few times I played with a microphone to curb my language.
yeah, you're just a little bit more cautious, and that just adds to the whole experience. You're already a little bit nervous playing. This is only second and third game for this team. Yeah. So still getting used to the ice, still getting their feel. I know the team yesterday we played, they had hardly played all year.
Yeah, those poor ladies, they threw no rocks coming into the competition. They play up and from the Iqaluit Curling Club, and they had a water crisis, so they turned the curling club actually into a rescue center. So yeah, they've been unable to curl.
I know. You know what? They did really well considering that.
Yeah, and great ladies.
You know what? We're all, as I think everyone's just kind of echoing, we're just happy to be here. We're happy to be back curling. It was hard last year. I know that's the least amount I've ever played through COVID. So just fortunate to be back on the ice.
The shot here by Lorna is going to get away from her a bit, just an over curl. Great start, though, for the Yukon this week, 2-0. They defeated Quebec, and they beat BC. For those curling fans, you might know the name Penny Ryan. That was her married name, but she is now playing out of BC. She used to play out of Alberta, and she's going to be in the seniors next week as well. She's a great team. They're off to an 0-2 start, so that's a big win for the Yukon to knock off a team with as much experience as Penny.
Yeah, they're doing really well this week so far. I mean, still early in the week, but
it is.
I know for our team it feels like we've been here for ages. But
that's what everyone said. They're like, we've been here for 2 days playing. Feels like we've been here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Come around here for Mandy. Opportunity to lie two. Probably slid a little deeper than they wanted, but serviceable shot for sure. They have the hammer to start this game. What we do to start the games is two players on each team throw closest to the button. The rocks are both measured, and the shortest distance from the button gets the hammer. So Nova Scotia able to do that. Applying some early pressure. Third stone here, Laura Spanner. This is Lorna's third time playing in the Curling Club Championships, now sponsored by Everest.
No, I do have to say, their uniforms, the Northern Lights on the back,
yeah,
it's so nice.
Touch.
Yeah,
nice touch.
Oh.
Just whiskered by. One thing I noticed, you played, like we mentioned on this sheet yesterday, I would say it's considerably straighter since yesterday. Our game this afternoon, probably lost about 6 inches of curl on both. Don't get me wrong, it's still very good curling ice for sure, but it's definitely straightened up by hair.
Yeah, I can see that.
Line's great.
All in all, the speed's great though, but yeah, it's just adjusting to those little things, right? From one game to the next, the little extra curl, or whether it's going to hang a bit more.
This is Mandy's second time playing in the Curling Club Championship. Her and Selena both represented Nova Scotia in 2017. Very happy to be back. We've mentioned it before in the broadcast. A lot of these teams had to wait 2 years. Like, they'd won their provincial 2 years ago, but because of COVID, we've had the delays and whatnot. And you can actually tell it's really affected the curling fans as well, because we've had capacity crowds here for the most part, and we're just getting started this week. These are the preliminary games. There are 14 teams. So you play round robin. Top 4 teams from each pool move on to an 8-team double knockout. They eliminate 4 teams. The 4 teams left, number 1 plays number 4, number 2 plays number 3 in the semis, and then the finals are on Saturday. Your team's off to a good start already. You need, I would say, 2 more games and you're guaranteed to go through.
I would hope so. Yeah. We're thinking one game at a time.
That's all you can do.
Yeah,
it's a long week.
It is. But yeah, for sure, it's nice to have that opportunity. Top 4 teams, and then the double knockout on Friday, and finish off Saturday.
This is Lori's 3rd time representing the Yukon at these championships. A little bit of pressure here in the first, facing 2 buried, but that guard's high enough that if she has proper weight, she can sink this one right in here. Sweepers are trying to drag it for the weight. The line's perfect, but it's going to come up just short.
Right, yeah, that line was so nice. That extra couple feet more would have been perfect for them, but still usable. You think it comes up enough they can maybe tap it back on their next?
Can definitely tap it for second, maybe even shot rock if she can squeak the guard.
It's hard to come around that, though. I just don't want to give her something.
Nova Scotia is actually in the enviable position of being in such good shape. They don't know where to put their next one right now, but
Don't want to give her a hit.
lying 2 buried.
It's a really narrow spot.
Yeah, I just hear them talking. They don't want to give the hit and roll in for sure. They don't want to leave any
I
doubles.
just don't want to be there.
They do want to take that that draw away, I think, at this point they're talking about.
I like deeper.
She's talking about throwing it into the back 8. It's real tough, in my opinion, to throw it back there, be out counting the yellow and not set up a double. Like you're drawing to like a 1-2 foot space. So they've actually decided to go to the wide in turn here instead, which I like this call better.
I agree. The Yukon just through that side, they know the path better, so taking it away from them and forcing them to that out turn, and it's a guessing game out there for them, I assume. So
yeah, early in the game, like they do throw the rocks, draw to the 4 foot, but this is probably a wider path than what they would have had to do in practice.
I know it sounds weird, but
yeah, and you got to be careful. Yesterday, I just know that outside of 8 foot, away from the board, just ran a bit, so you weren't getting the curl and the break you anticipated, but it does come if you're patient.
Yeah, this spot here, it's going to run for a little bit because of the boards, right? And then if you have the proper weight, it'll finish nice.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about the directional sweeping now is
pass the curl.
gives the rocks a bit more of a chance too.
Sarah, finish.
That was a horrible sweeper from both sides of the stone, so directional sweeping didn't really affect my game too much, unfortunately. This one's going to come up short, but it does block the path for that tap that we talked about.
Yep.
She's got a choice here. She could draw, or there's enough of that red. She could at least kill one.
Yeah, she throws the right weight here. I think she may be able to get both of them, but have to definitely throw it softer.
She's going to go. This is aggressive call. She's going to go other side where we haven't really seen any rocks yet and throw the out turn draw. Very aggressive call in the first.
Yeah, she's got to make this perfect.
Unlike our team yesterday from Nunavut, the Yukon's actually been able to play about twice a week. I was talking to them before the game, so they've had their ice, they've had their leagues running, and they feel they've been able to play quite a bit coming in, and you can tell 2-0 start. They've obviously got in quite a few throws. How much did you get to play? How long have you had ice at Thunder Bay this season?
Just about over a month. I guess 2 months at this point. It was just shortly after Thanksgiving time our league started up, so we only had a couple weeks to prepare for our provincial playdowns. Got a bonspiel in before, and that was about it. It was a pretty quick turnaround, but again, we were all, I think, so just eager to be back on the ice. We were trying to take every time we could. I know I was curling up to 4 nights a week at some point just to get the extra games in before I came here. But yeah, we were guaranteed we were playing one as a team, one night a week together for the past almost 2 months now. So yeah.
Very good attempt. That weight was absolutely perfect. She did not quite bury a piece, but it's right edge on edge. And the first end, this would be a tough shot. She certainly has to navigate that red rock that is full 8 foot, and then she can't afford to be wide. If she only hits, say, half a rock or a little thinner, she could jam and give up a steal. So this is a tricky shot in the first, but a great opportunity for Selena. As we mentioned, her second time playing here. Also represented Nova Scotia in 2017.
Yeah, she's got to make this fairly perfect, but it is there. Just have to avoid that jam, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where weight is so key, because I even found that little bit more up, it would track and stay out a bit, but that little bit in or down, it was going. So
yeah, we've noticed a lot of the misses so far have been tight, but then today there's been a few wider ones because it's straightened out, and this one she just probably not her best throw, just a hair wide. She's going to slip past, and a great draw there by Lori Eby. So she steals one, and after one, it is the Yukon leading Nova Scotia 1-0. We'll be back for the second end shortly. You play at Fort William.
Yes, I do.
So I've curled longer than what I'm going to let on to our viewers, but they used to run a spiel called the McDonald's. It was $20,000 first prize cash spiel, attracted some of the best teams, certainly in Canada. Back then you didn't have as many European teams, but honestly, between Fort William and Port Arthur, two of the very best curling clubs in the country. Like, just the way people treat you. You got the Chinese food, the upstairs viewing. It's just an unbelievable atmosphere in Thunder Bay, and we had a slam there probably 3 years ago now, and it was sold out. It was incredible. It's a great curling community. You know, shout out to Heather Houston, Al Hackner, Lorraine Lang, all of those girls from that team, and then, you know, Al won two Briars out of there. I think Heather won 2 Scotties. Do you get a chance to play with or against or see them very much at the club?
All the time. You know, even Al came to our send-off, our little fundraiser. Was so great to see him for the support. Lorraine was there as well. If Rick wasn't away at the trials, he probably would have been there too. And Heather was actually just away on travel, but she would have been there too. They're just phenomenal. I know they've always been huge idols of mine, so coming up and just being on the same ice and in the same presence of them is just quite the experience for sure.
Al Hackner was my very first curling idol. I don't tell him that now because we've actually played together a few times, so it'd be embarrassing. But actually, the very first time I went to play Al, we were playing in the Ottawa Welton Beauchamp, playing over at the Rideau. And jokingly, I went up to him. The winner of our game advances to the playoffs, and I asked him for an autograph, and he used language. We'll just say, if you translate it loosely, "Get away from me, kid." Like, he knew I was busting his chops. We ended up losing that game 2-1 in an extra. But they're just great ambassadors for the sport, the city of Thunder Bay. I love it.
Honestly are, yeah. Just the whole curling community altogether have been phenomenal. Huge reason for making the transition, the move up to Thunder Bay, just so easy.
So center guard here to start the second end. Sarah Kenny's going to play the come around. This is her first time representing Nova Scotia at a national championship, so she'll be very jacked to play in this event. Nice touch there, buried perfectly around the guard. There's some nice late finish there. If anything, that pops out open on a bit on the intern. Nice come around.
That's great.
Laura Williamson throwing lead stones for the Yukon, her third time. The Everest Curling Club Championship.
Line. Oh, it's going back. It's going back.
Just a hair heavy.
You know, it seems like they're picking up on the ice really well. Both teams, from what I can hear, are calling the weight really well.
Yeah, right out of the hand there.
Yeah.
They knew they were going to be a little deep,
Yeah.
Talking to Randy earlier in our game, and it's funny you touched on that. The young kids who are representing Northern Ontario, where you're playing out of, like, combined age, 76 years old. But they did Newfoundland Labrador have a lot more experience. They were able to pick up on the weight a little bit quicker, and that was probably the difference in that game because, yeah, you get your practice, but then it's different paths. The ice changes throughout the game, and the kids just had a little more trouble adjusting. And this one here is Sarah's just going to slide a hair deep, sticks around. Third shot might come into play later. You never know.
Yeah.
Those little biters, they can come back to haunt you.
They sure can, especially early in the game. And with Hammer, who knows, that could be a third point for them, for Nova Scotia here.
So I love this. We had the teams fill out the bios. This is Tamar Vandenberg. Her favorite curler ever is Paul Galzel, and a lot of our audience is not going to know who Paul is, but he won the 1977-1979 World Junior Championship. Basically was a red-headed hippie. He showed up after they won the World Juniors to the banquet, and he didn't have a tie on, and they didn't know who he was, and they sent him away. And he said, I just won this thing. So, like, you can't come in without a tie. He goes back to his room, grabs a tie, shows up. They don't notice he took off his shoes and socks. Paul was an absolute character, dominated curling to a certain extent in the late 70s, early 80s. But your man, the Iceman, ended his hopes in the 1980 Brier. He beat him in the semifinal, and that set Paul back. But like people Google Paul Galzel. I love the fact that Tamar loves him. I got to room with him once at a charity event, and he's old school curling. Not sure if this one picked or not, but it certainly got away from them early.
Yeah.
Might have picked, Samantha?
Yeah, I was going to say, the weight seeming to come off of it, too. I thought that was going to be...
It's going to stick around, though, which now they've got a couple of other little kickers. They're still shot rock.
Yeah, now that's sitting third. That's huge for Nova Scotia. Definitely can still use it.
So they're going to play the top here? Or?
I think it's just a straight draw.
Straight draw.
Yeah. Just come around. It seems to be finishing nice towards the board.
Yeah, it is, especially on this in turn. You know, the right-handed in turn, you're going to get that extra curl.
Yeah.
Tamar's favorite TV show, she says, I live in the bush, I don't have a TV. There you go.
Hey, good on her.
They're really working hard. This is a great looking curling shot here.
Nicely, great sweep.
Beautiful, gets it in there for shot rock, mostly buried behind that one in the top eights. You said it, the example right there of the great late finish on this ice.
Yep. Yeah, because they gave quite a bit of ice there, and I think she was on broom, and it really finished nice at the end there.
She needed to be back there.
She threw the good weight, though. They were sweeping most of the way down, which is the key. Throw that top 4, top 8, and give it to the sweepers.
So Kathy Donald is a mixed Canadian champion. This is her first time, though, playing in the Everest Curling Club Championship.
Okay. Yeah, you were about to say.
This looks close if it curls.
Good job.
Actually does the job. It opens up that, I mean, would have loved to save the shooter, but she does open up shot rock on the button, and where she chipped that yellow, there's actually an in-off now.
Yeah, agreed. I know Nova Scotia was a little bit worried about the jam there and hitting that yellow back onto their red in that back 8 foot there, but almost maybe took it too careful and were a little wide for the tick, but all in all, I agree. Opens it up nice.
Good chance here now for Lorna Spenner. Her third time at this national championship. She could be short here, straight guard, or if you wanted, you could drag it and just freeze directly to the red. It looks like they're going for the guard option.
Has to curl.
Has to come over here.
If you can drag it far enough, it'll definitely finish. There'll be enough curl, just a matter of the weight.
Good sweep.
They leave a hole. Looks tough hole, though.
It's tempting, but you think you got to throw some fairly big weight to
I mean, it's an easy shot from where you and I are sitting, obviously. We can make that for fun, but...
I don't think so. She went like this, so I
She's going to go with the in-turn through the hole. Very tough. Reverse port here.
I like it. I think this is the right way to go, but you can't be wide on this.
It looks like she's just going to tick the top one here, peel it off. She'll open up the back. That was a hard shot for Mandy.
I was just a little
It's a hard shot for anybody. Just Mandy was the one throwing it.
I agree. It was paper thin on both sides there, but all in all, that does somewhat of the job. Opens it up a bit more for them. Yukon has to make the perfect guard again here.
So Lorna trying to replace her guard at her top 12. So this one looks like it's going to be a little bit tighter. Still got a curl.
Got a curl. Has to curl. Has to curl.
They really got to work it here.
I think they did just enough, eh? I mean,
I think so. That was a great sweep by the ladies to get it over and get that directional finish.
there's a nose double, the hard part. And you don't want to talk in negative terms here, but if she was ever to hit it high and jam on her own red, disaster. So what she's going to do to avoid that is play the hit and roll just underneath. Might even squeak the guard if she can and get the double. Wow, that's hard to hit too thin.
I don't know how she got through all those rocks in the house
No,
there.
to touch nothing. I mean, I don't think you could do that if you called it.
Great shot.
Mandy's funny. She said her favorite curler is Kevin Martin, but she should also maybe throw in Mark Dacey because she works for Mark. So, you know, that makes some sense. So, I mean, it's not often you hear Mark being someone's favorite curler, but he is a Brier champion. He's a great player. I don't think Mark plays anymore. But I know he owns now, he used to be involved with Tim Hortons, but it's a gym. Brad Gushu, Mark Nichols are involved. Orange Theory, I believe, is the business.
Yeah, I've heard, we don't have one of those up in Thunder Bay, but I've heard great things about them.
Yeah, I've been a couple times. I did a workout there with Brad Gushu once. He died. I was obviously fit as a fiddle, so I barely even broke a sweat. But so you can commentate anytime. You can laugh at that and be on my side. You're good. You're good. Randy is fired.
I'm not saying anything, Peter.
For those who are going to tune in tonight, we have Dave Mathers from Team Howard is going to come and join us in the booth. And tomorrow night, we have Emma Miskew of Team Holman.
Oh, that's great.
That's the thing I love, too, is I've seen quite a few of the players that have played in Briers and Scotties around the Ottawa area have been out the last two nights, and it's great to see them come out and support this event. This is very high-level curling. This is where everyone started.
Yep.
And, you know, some people will play at this level for their whole life. I think it's somebody like you and your team. You're young enough. You could definitely up levels.
Yeah. No, this great event. Been to a couple nationals in the past for university, and it's great to just be back competing, and you don't realize how nerve-wracking it can be after taking a few years off, but getting back into it is just a great feeling, and just all the support. Everyone's been so phenomenal here. Our ambassadors at the curling club have welcomed us with open arms, and they're just as excited as we are, I think.
They are. I talked to one of the curling and golf members from the Ottawa Hunt last night, and he said, even though they're a full membership here, it is such a way to spotlight their club. They're so happy to host these events. They're hosting an LPGA golf event next year, so hats off to the Ottawa Hunt Club and all the volunteers, the drivers.
working around the clock. It's great to see. Yeah, the one driver this morning did mention about that LGPA.
Wow. Just missed going through the hole. I think the way she hit it, there's still access to that yellow. But if I was Team Yukon here, I might even look at the out-turn draw. If you were ever to lock one, or if there's a hole with the in-turn, I think if you were ever to curl one right onto that red, it's a steal of 2. They more conservative call, obviously. You just guard the hole. You're probably going to be up 2-0.
Yeah, I agree with you, Peter. I like coming in here. They have that that run back on the red for 2 for sure, and just coming in, putting a little bit more pressure on Nova Scotia, just to avoid giving up the 2.
That's basically what the game's about, because everyone, they play at such a high level. So if you have an opportunity to maybe press the advantage, I think you do have to take advantage of it when the opportunity comes.
I agree. There's always that point of being aggressive, being too aggressive, but I think you really can't go wrong here, especially if your draw weight's down.
She made a great draw in the first, right?
Yeah. Lori seems to have her draw weight, so.
This one you can tell they're just going straight guard, which is fine. I mean,
Keep it straight.
she might be able to guard a piece of the red as well to take away or make the run back quite a bit more difficult. There is the in-off. So she's guarded the hole nicely, and again, it's probably curled enough to take away the run back.
I was just going to say that, Peter. It does look fairly close, but I think they've taken it away.
Yeah, but if we take ours.
I don't know if she could walk that down and put it in a much better spot.
Good rock, Laura.
I think she has to take on, if the run back's not there, she has to take on this in-off because there's nothing to lose. Like, you can't really, there's no disaster scenario here.
No, I agree, Peter. Even if she were to hit the yellow a little thin and come on top of that red, I think it's going right back into their yellow in the back 12 there.
Exactly.
So.
Not super hard. No, I mean tap this one. This is the easier shot, tapping this. No, I don't love it. Like, I think it spins up over the top anyway. Yeah, so I like the tap on that because it's a little low side, or high side, sorry. Can you see this, the tap? No. Yeah, okay. There's no risk, right? We can't hit it into our own. I think bumper with that. You think that's not enough? Play tight. Board. Just board. I don't think there's a risk here. Am I crazy? There's no, like, if we hit it high side.
So it looks like they decided to go with a lighter weight tap back here. Tough shot. No downside.
No, what do you think they're trying to throw here? They need enough weight to at least kick that yellow back a bit off the pin, so.
That's it. Like, I think at a minimum you need board.
This is that tricky board side where it may hang out a bit, but 4 foot in, it should go.
Gonna have to carve this one, to your point. You nailed the ice on this. This is just starting to run. It wants to curl, but it runs so much early. She's just gonna hit it a hair high. Weight was nice, actually, for the tap.
It's a great attempt.
So a steal of 1 for the Yukon. They lead Nova Scotia 2-0 after 2. While they're clearing the rocks off here, we'll update you on the other scores. Quebec leads Nunavut 3-0. They're playing third end. We've got 2-1 lead for Saskatchewan. The men leading Alberta. They're in the third end. Alberta with the hammer. Another ladies game. The Territories, the Northwest Territories, leads Quebec 2-1, playing the third. Men's game, Ontario trails the Yukon 1-0. They're playing the third. in our final game, you have a ladies matchup, Ontario leading New Brunswick 1-0. New Brunswick obviously with the hammer.
Some close games so far. It's great to see that.
So our game 2-0 here. If you're in this situation, I mean, it's not by any means the end where you're down 2-0. It's no big deal. You have 6 ends left. You have the hammer. What do you like to do? Like, what's your approach to an end like this?
It's tricky, you know. I don't know if Nova Scotia has found their draw weight yet. They've been a bit heavy on a few, but if Yukon throws the perfect guard, I don't mind coming around still at this point. Still early in the game, your third end, so what's the harm? But definitely even the blank here is fine, and take your 2 in the fourth and come right back in it. It looks like it's going to be light for Yukon, so.
Yeah, and it's not right on. I mean, it's close to the center line, but you could go wide with the out turn. She's going to choose the in turn here and go around it. So you nailed the strategy there. Are you inside of Nova Scotia's head right now? Like, a lot of teams might throw a corner here, but they're going with the lefty out turn draw here from Sarah Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Laura's just didn't finish up. It seemed like she had great weight for the guard they wanted to throw. It just didn't curl for them. So you definitely have to take advantage of this slightly off center guard. It's almost a nice corner for Nova Scotia to come around.
Just a big kick.
But just a hair heavy is going to stop in the rings. Just battling draw weight a little bit.
Yeah. You don't want to be too high there in Christmas tree and block up that center for the skip's last one, but coming that far back isn't doing you many favors at this point.
So Laura going to play the opposite turn here, try to bury one in the top 4. Some teams would play the freeze. They're going more aggressive. They want to keep this one in front of the tee line.
I like that call. I think their guard is tight enough to the house that anywhere top 4 makes it tricky for them to try to take them out and sit in. So
they could play a hit and roll here. I like it. They're going to stick with the. Anytime I think you have the opportunity to let your player, especially at this level, throw the same shot twice in a row, it's a big advantage. It's got to really up their chances of making it. So they're going to go with another out turn draw here for Sarah.
I agree. Give her that second chance. I know a couple of my games, the first shot, you really like it and you want it, and you just miss that little bit. So having that second opportunity is always key.
Yeah, I think curling needs mulligans like in golf, you know? You should be able to have 1 or 2 mulligans a game. Maybe 1 the first 4 ends, 1 the last 4 ends. You know, it could really change things.
I know I take a few too many in golf, so.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Curling.
You're not alone. Some days we have some breakfast balls on the first tee. You get to hit it till you like it. I hit a small bucket before I get going, so.
That's why you're always playing alone, eh, Peter?
Exactly. Exactly.
No one to keep count for you.
Tamara here trying to make the in-turn double, but she's going to wreck on the front. It was a nice draw by Sarah. Got it in there, mostly buried. Tamara's not happy, but she does open that up, and it's very early in the end.
I agree. I think that double on Nova Scotia's rock is there all day, so you can definitely get a couple of the reds out of the rings.
They're going to hit here. They're taking minimal ice for sure. Going to have Kathy Donald, the mixed Canadian champ, play the open hit here with the out turn. Basically, no matter where this goes, to your point, there will be a double.
Clean right now. Still high side.
I guess they're thinking it's not curling much on that side.
No, it's definitely straighter than when you played here yesterday. 100% it is, yeah. Because she didn't throw that super hard either. She probably just had board plus.
Yeah, and she was a hair out, but not by much. So really tracked there.
So we're gonna have to keep our hits out there.
So double opportunity here for Tamar. In turn off the line. You would think this might curl a bit if that out turn was running straighter.
Yeah, seems to be going right out of her hand.
She made good contact, probably just had to throw it harder. That was tough. With that turn, that was real tough to make the double, but her rock ends up in a spot where Nova Scotia is definitely going to have to deal with it.
Yep, they definitely can't nose here for the jam, but a little roll either way should be good for Nova Scotia.
Kathy filled out her bio, and her original favorite movie was It's a Wonderful Life, but she switched it up and went Love Actually. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh my goodness. I've always been a sucker for The Grinch, but
Yeah,
Jim Carrey just
I'm a fan of The
plays it
Grinch.
so well. But my family's every Christmas Eve we watch National Lampoon's
Yes.
Christmas Vacation.
Did you know Randy? We refer to him now as is it Cousin Eddie? Uncle Eddie? One of them.
Uncle Eddie.
He's Eddie. Unfortunate miss there by Kathy. Opportunity to lie three, just curled on her. So an opportunity now for the Yukon. Be aggressive. You could make the double though. It's probably half a rock-ish. You'd like to stay for sure. Yeah, Randy is Cousin Eddie. That makes sense to me a lot.
I could see
know.
that.
Especially, if you're around the hospitality room a little later, that's when Eddie really comes out.
I need to get to bed early tonight, but
Yawn.
he's good.
12:30 tomorrow. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Lorna here. She's going to be close. If they swept it, she'd be very close to double. She's just going to curl here. Missed the back one, but a good shot.
So, yeah, it seems like they want to go for that double there.
Yeah, just normal. Like 9.5 normal.
So Manny's going to throw this in turn. We saw that it comes up here off the line a little bit. Key here is to stay. I mean, you'd love to make the double, but you definitely want to save your shooter and skirt your yellow rock past the back one. Keep your deuce alive.
Yep. Oh yeah, you gotta go. Hard. Hard. Yes.
Well, it seems like they're a little delayed sweeping there. I do have to say it is fairly difficult to hear out there. There's just everyone's so intense and at that high level.
I've noticed that a few of the teams have gone to hand signals to try to communicate out there. She rolls to, that's just a biter, so even though she's not shot her second, it still has a good chance. I mean, this is not an easy hit and stay. It's in the back 12, so if they were to hit a half rock, they'd roll out. So good for her for sticking around. Lorna definitely wants to stay. I like the weight. They're throwing, pretty control weight as opposed to the big stuff, so they can bring the sweepers into play more, maybe use that directional stuff.
Yeah, I find that so important to use those sweepers, especially on this ice. The last thing you want is one of those heavy weight hits, and you can't do anything about it, right?
No, you can't. You throw and pray. So there is a double opportunity. I think they'd be more focused on the hit and stay here for Mandy.
Anything says to curl. That was light.
Even with that weight, it took a
Wow.
while to come up, eh?
Yeah, she had basically backline hack weight. She actually chips it to
5.
an unmissable double.
Yeah, that worked out in their favor there, but I'm surprised even with that weight, it didn't come up for them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that spot yesterday in your game was breaking extremely stream like tons off the boards.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, I'll just ice it.
So she's definitely, Lori needs to stick around here because that double is very accessible for Nova Scotia. So she needs to make sure that she sticks around and counts that rock out on the wing.
The first one, yeah, was like a 25. I was surprised. It's funny, eh? Like you can throw charges for like the number that you want. You have your pick. Yeah.
It's that tricky spot again, though.
This could be trouble.
Yeah.
They just throw everything quite soft.
This could be, she might chip it right into the yellows. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I mean, we're gonna leave her.
Now an opportunity for Nova Scotia to hit the open one and lie 3. They'll probably leave a double, but I mean, I think they're pretty happy with that turn of events.
I would
I mean,
say.
your high's okay, but I don't want to try and roll.
Going through these curling bios, it seems like I'm going to have to watch the show Yellowstone. There's a lot of have you ever watched this show?
I have not, but my teammates, I think they both put that as their favorite
we
show.
got 3 of them here this game, so Kevin Costner, I know he's on the show. That's about the only thing I know about it.
Yeah, I can't tell you much, unfortunately, Peter, but I've heard it's a little slow to start and it gets better as you continue watching.
Yeah,
But
it's like my commentary.
well, I know we were even talking about Ozark yesterday, and Randy felt so left out.
Oh, he did, yeah. Randy doesn't have internet at his house, so he can't stream any Netflix or anything like that. So.
Uncle Eddie to a T, eh?
Yeah.
Living in the RV.
Selena Thompson, open hit here to lie 3, currently trailing 2-0, playing the third end. Sweeper's going to have to work hard to hold on to this one just to get a piece of this yellow.
Wow.
Seems like her weight is really down, too.
Yeah, their last 2 throws, they barely had hack weight, I would say.
Yeah.
But she lies 2. Not really a realistic double that she'd want to take on, so she's going to have an opportunity to put a deuce on the board, tie this game. Laurie'd love to hit and stick here, make Selena throw the open hit as opposed to just having open rings to draw to.
What do you think, Peter, about a little roll out? You have that yellow in the back just to...
I think there's no downside to trying it, right?
Yeah.
Because the odds are you're leaving an open hit anyway, so why not at least try to put something in her mind, right?
Yeah, I agree. We know Colleen is going to be hitting for the 2, so why not make it a little bit more difficult for her?
She might have done the exact shot you're talking about. I don't know that she called it, but she made it. You just sent some weird voodoo stuff out to the ice there. That is, I think there's enough room that as long as she noses it, or maybe she throws the out turn, just crosses the face an inch, she's okay. But yeah, you got that type of telepathic power? Is that what you did? No wonder you're 2-0.
You know, I wish these ladies were in my pool because...
yeah, if you could control the rocks like that, you'd be in really good shape.
No, lucky guess, but that did work out for Lori. Just a different view for Selena, I know.
But it's funny, it does now put that little bit of difference in your head, right? Versus just whipping down the open draw or the open hit. She does have it in her mind that she probably has to hit this just a little bit different. So
yeah, I think a little bit inside.
She's going to have to be throwing more weight here than the last couple because she's taking barely like outside of where she has to hit this stone. She's playing this to maybe curl 2 inches, 3 inches. Probably a little full. Gonna have to carve it, but it should finish here if the weight's soft enough. Now they gotta straighten it.
Yeah, it's going.
Again, super soft with the weight. Gonna chip it. Very nice shot.
Oh, no, great sweep by the ladies.
So put 2 on the board for Nova Scotia at the end of 3. It is Yukon 2, Nova Scotia 2. back here for the fourth, and Yukon with the hammer.
Yeah, great sweep by the ladies there to hold that, and just that little soft weight, it stuck around. I guess if you threw any more, that would have been out of the rings there. With the rocks are fairly active. I was surprised. Yeah, it's been great so far. Like I said, the ice makers have done a phenomenal job. And
going to start this end. Sarah Kenny's going to throw a center guard. So while that comes down the ice,
little overcurl.
Update you on the scores. Yukon continues to lead Ontario in the men's game, 1-0.
Overcurling. Whoa, I think you're good. 14-8.
The game beside us.
I wasn't yelling. Yeah, good sweep.
Nunavut is trailing Quebec. Quebec, one of the stronger men's teams for sure.
Good judge.
Quebec out to a 3-1 lead. Ladies game, New Brunswick picked up a deuce. They lead Ontario 2-1. Ontario with the hammer playing the fourth. Alberta men leading the Saskatchewan men 4-2. They picked up 3 in the third. And then the ladies game, Quebec, Northwest Territories tied at 2. Territories with the hammer playing the fourth. It's been a well-played game here so far. Both teams have had some opportunities they've been able to take advantage of. I would say key shot of the game was probably the draw that Lori made in the first. She was facing a potential 3-ender, able to stick one in there and end up with a steal. I would say if we had a TSN turning point, that would be where we're at so far, but plenty of curling left. Looks like they're going to want to play a fairly open end here. Just trading hits. This is where we have to learn to talk about other stuff, because nobody wants to hear about open hits coming down the ice. So this is the reason we got these bios done.
No roll. No roll, no roll.
Nice shot there. Both teams have been fairly strong with their hits, eh? They're not rolling out, they're staying in play.
Yeah, and they've thrown quite a bit less weight than maybe quite a few of the teams that I've seen, like for their normal weight, you know? Like
yeah.
This one, she's gonna have to work on this one a hair.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I know with those Northern Territory teams, like even just playing none of it yesterday, they were saying how quick the ice was here compared to what they're used to. So I just anticipated people overthrowing rather than underthrowing, just to account for the little bit heavier ice they have back home.
Yeah, I know Kate Cameron, who plays now for Laura Walker, used to play for Michelle Englot. The ice that she curled on in northern Manitoba, she couldn't get the rock to the other end. Her practice for draw weight was where that Everest logo is, halfway down the sheet. Could you imagine going out, that's your practice, you're trying to just throw rocks halfway down the sheet? Like, I don't know how you could possibly be precise.
Oh my God.
But the fact that she lost the Scotties final to Rachel Holman the one year in the next round shows that the practice paid off. But that would be, I'd find that very tough to be motivated to go out and practice if I was thrown in that scenario.
9-6 though.
I agree. That's a huge adjustment, but getting that muscle memory, that feel. And
now, does McCarville play out of your club as well?
She does. She doesn't play in any of our leagues. She's in the major league in Thunder Bay, but see her out practicing all the time.
They had a great tweet during the Scotties. They were the feature game on television, and they got drilled. Like, there's no nice way to say it. They got beat up bad, but to show you what kind of personality those ladies have, they tweeted out a picture of themselves watching the game on TV, drinks in their hands, saying, you know your night's gone poorly when you were the feature game on TV and you're already back at the hotel having drinks. Able to poke fun at themselves, and they were off to a rough start that week, and they end up making the semifinals and losing a tight one to Jen, the eventual winner. I've gotten to know them over the years, and they're just fantastic people.
They are, and, forces to be reckoned with,
It's just like
great ambassadors of the club for sure.
Yes,
In Thunder
yeah.
Bay, I know Thunder Bay, even when we hosted the Slam back a few years
Yeah.
ago, the one you're talking about, like the crowd was just going wild for them. So
Yeah, I was doing the intros for that, and I would actually get chills because when I got, like, you go through and you build up, you know, 3 time this, 4, and the crowd applause just started to build and build and build, and I can't wait. I am just jacked for them to make the Scotties this year and get a chance to play in Thunder Bay at home, because that'll be unbelievable.
I know. I'm so excited.
I'd be tempted to give them a bye just to make sure that they get there, you know? Because, I mean, I'm serious. That will move the needle huge.
Yeah, I honestly agree. I think it'll be great for them to play on their home ice. They're going to have some tough competition. I heard there's quite a few signed up for the provincial playdowns, but yeah, all in all, if they could just represent Northern Ontario in their home sheet.
Yeah, it'd be phenomenal. Ticket sales would go through the roof. It'd be great for Curling Canada, great for TSN. Like, yeah, it'd be.
Yeah, and considering the Scotties was canceled due to COVID a couple years back, it's just been that waiting game for everyone. They're so excited to be given the opportunity, and
the job Thunder Bay did hosting the Slam was phenomenal. So they'll nail it at the Scotties as well.
Just missed there. That tricky side towards the board just tracks a bit.
So they're trading hits, but an unfortunate miss. And now an opportunity for the Yukon with the hammer to split the rings.
Okay.
Be 3 rocks left for Nova Scotia to maybe find their way out of it, hope for a hit and roll out, or maybe make a double.
I think I jinxed it a little. I was saying they were hitting so well, and that was a big miss.
That can happen, though. That's the announcer's jinx. It happens. You go on and say how straight a spot is. The next thing you know, they're going to wreck. How great the draw weight's been. They hog it.
Hard.
It's the jinx of the announcer. I got all 3 of them working on this one, but it looks pretty nice weight to me. Trying to even them up as much as possible.
Great teamwork there. That's what you call a team shot.
Yes. I like hitting the other one here. I think it's a better angle to roll over, maybe create a double on your next.
I agree with you, Peter. This is that tricky spot again, too. She knows it
And
right
this
out of her hand.
definitely has to curl, you're right. Might come up enough to kill it.
Oh, I think Celine's sweep may have just done it there.
If that was Ferb sweeping that rock stays in the 8 foot. So that was good brushing by Selena. Randy would have never got that one out. He would have had to call Dave Netawin in to sweep that one. Good chance here, though, for the Yukon to split the rings again now. Set up a 2, be a key 2, even ends. Talk to me a bit about that. That's all you hear about when we watch the elite play, whether it be at a Curling Canada event or like the Olympic trials, the Scotties, Canada Cup, the Slams. Do you even care that much about it at this level? Do you care much about when you're scoring with the hammer, or when you get an opportunity, you just go?
I honestly think it's still important to play that scoreboard, and if you can manage it well, I've always learned scoreboard management is so important because these teams, they can still make their shots. You can't count on many misses from them, so playing the scoreboard is kind of your greatest way of kind of guaranteeing your win, I would say. I know even just today when we were playing Manitoba, I was gung-ho coming out of the 4th end break that, let's go top 4. I think they're going to throw that corner guard, and sure enough, they came after us and hit, and they were going for their blank, which was the right call, 5th end, carry that hammer over in the 6th. But so the teams are well aware. They know how to manage the scoreboard here, and it's some great competition. So I truly think it's important, but the odd time you have your your
same
chance for
turn.
2 or 3, you got to take it. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's right there, you're not going to throw it away. You're going to. It's funny. Some of the old, like Randy, he doesn't care as much. He doesn't play. He'd be the first to tell you. He probably hasn't thrown a rock in 5 years, but he certainly still understands the game. But he does get a little miffed, he says, sometimes that some teams go too far to try to force the other team. Instead of forcing them to 1, they force them to 3, which is not ideal.
Oh, I agree. There is a time. It really depends on the team too. Your strengths and weaknesses,
Yes.
and what you can do. Right. If you're a hitting team, then for sure, if you can go for the force or go for the blank on that odd end and carry over your hammer to the even end, then by all means. But for those teams that are stronger on the draws, sometimes it's worth to just be a little bit more aggressive and go for your 2, whether even or odd.
So an opportunity here for Lori to hit and sit 2. I think if she noses this, there's really no double unless they're going to fly Kevin Cooey into town. So a good chance here for her to pick up 2. If she can nose hit this, she'll probably have an open shot on her last one.
Interesting call playing towards the boards. Just I think knowing that away from the boards does track a bit.
Yeah, this is, they mentioned it last week on TSN, actually. Jennifer Jones, probably more than anyone in Canada, throws off the center line. Not many teams, to your point, do that anymore. Everyone plays outside in, but Jennifer, quite often, she'll throw off the center line, just like Lori did right there.
Yeah, and I think with the right amount of practice, it's never a bad call. I've just, with funky releases, I see too many inside outs getting away, whereas that outer path, always you seem to be able to control it a bit more. But
yeah, I would say most curlers' weakness is throwing hits off the line now, because you just don't throw it very often.
Is that back one on or no?
Yeah, especially towards the board there, it's going to go, but Lori threw it very well there.
But I think it's just the color that's on.
So facing 2 here, Selena.
For it, because it's like if we don't make the roll,
The best she can do is hit and roll in for shot rock.
so
Make Lori hit and stay.
Just look at the difference of ice here. She's almost inside of the rock with her broom,
Yeah, she's playing for this is the type of ice Rachel Holman would take.
Yeah.
Rachel's known to pop it, throw that extra spin. She basically does it every time.
So no roll?
Watch that.
Oh no.
Especially too, you really needed to stay there in the house, so maybe the other turn would have been a little bit easier for them to manage.
Yeah, that's a big thing. At any level, you do have to make the teams earn that extra point. This is a much easier shot. Just draw anywhere in the rings versus hit and stay. Unfortunately for Selena, she rolled out. So a real opportunity here now for Lori and Team Yukon. Get their deuce, capitalize on their hammer, take a 4-2 lead into the break. We'll go to commercials after this, and we'll update you on the scoreboard when we come back for the 5th. So final rock here of the 4th end. Lori Eby with a chance, just needs paint for 2. They're working it early. You get a better eye than me. I'm betting short.
I agree. I see Lorna's coming out to help there, and
it's unfortunate. She had backing there as well. She pulled the string, and she's had very good draw weight. That one obviously got away from her. Unfortunate miss. So we're going to head to the 4th end break here. Yukon leading Nova Scotia 3-2. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
This ice is everything. It's where I come to feel close to her, to feel whole. This building helped raise me when my mother no longer could. When I step on the ice, she steps with me. My dad is my rock. We're a team now, like the four of us when we step on the ice. People say that this isn't a contact sport, but that's not true. It contacts you where you need it the most.
Before there was ice, there was our hallway at home. I was always the shy, quiet kid who loved math. But when I saw math come alive in the geometry of the game, I found my passion and my voice. It's a game of precision, a game of inches. It's the equation that now defines who I am.
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their miracle baby. As with all survivors, I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now, and at only 12, I am already a 5-year veteran of this sport. I have my sights set on the Olympics. I will push hard to get there. The only size that matters in this sport is the size of your dreams.
Sweep! Sweep! Hurry! Hurry! Hard! Hurry hard! Hard! Hurry hard! 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 Yeah! Woo! We should really be curling.
This ice is everything. It's where I come to feel close to her, to feel whole. This building helped raise me when my mother no longer could. When I step on the ice, she steps with me. My dad is my rock. We're a team now, like the four of us when we step on the ice. People say that this isn't a contact sport, but that's not true. It contacts you where you need it the most.
Good afternoon. We are back live at the Ottawa Hunt Club, Ottawa, Ontario, for the Everest Curling Club Championship. My name is Peter Stesky. I'm here with Samantha Morris, the third on Team Northern Ontario. They're off to a 2-0 start. We've got a great game here. Yukon just missed an opportunity to take a 2-point lead. They do lead 3-2. We're playing the fifth. It's been a good game so far, Samantha. What do you think?
Yeah, sorry, Peter. I think it's been excellent. A couple of missed shots on both ends, but all in all, some really great curling. I know just yesterday I was in this position talking to some of the team members from Nova Scotia, and they were saying they're sweating already and they weren't even on the ice, so I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking to be mic'd and live streamed, and for fun of them, I think they're handling the pressure really well.
Yeah, it's been a great game so far. Like you say, teams capitalized on a couple. Obviously, Yukon let one get away there, but set up for a good last four ends here for sure.
Yeah, I think the sweepers on both sides are judging the ice, the weight really well. We haven't seen too many missed sweeping calls or overswept rocks. Seems like both teams have been playing together at least this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I know in talking to the Yukon team, they're playing twice a week. That's pretty active for a club team, a chance to curl together that much. And it shows. They're off to a 2-0 start. If you're just joining us, they beat Quebec, they beat BC. They're playing a 6-game round robin, so they need one more win, probably guarantee some form of tiebreaker, 2 wins, you'd advance.
You're almost under. Okay, you're just
Nova Scotia's 1-0. They beat the Territories, Northwest Territories, in their first game. Interesting start to this, and Yukon with a couple of centers, but a couple great come-arounds here by Sarah Kenny, setting up a nice start with the hammer here for Nova Scotia.
Yeah, some great weight right on the pin, and top 8. I really do enjoy those top house weights because you get a little bit more control. And
this is an interesting call here, Samantha. I get that the center guard, you need it, you're trying to steal, but you're actually not in a position where you have to steal. If you miss this run back, you don't really open anything up. Or if you miss the center one back, you've opened up the 2 rocks in the rings. But if she makes a shot, it won't matter.
Yeah, I agree though, Peter. It's a little bit risky playing out towards the wings, and just as you said, Nova Scotia just come around again and really put the pressure on.
She actually threw a pretty nice shot there, but now those rocks are still buried. I like the call. Nova Scotia's going to draw one out in the weeds here, lie 3, and sort of make Yukon make a decision. Do you want to play aggressive, go at us in the 4-foot, or maybe hit the open one and let the end develop and see what happens? But advantage Nova Scotia right now coming out of the break.
Line's nice, guys. Mandy's in if you can switch.
I agree. They always have playing, we always have our what's our bailing point? When do we want to actually just come in and give up on the run backs? But it's still early in the end, so I think if Yukon can really dominate and run this yellow in here, a bit more of a chance.
Laurie's going to go aggressive and play the freeze. Out-turn freeze here for Tamar.
You got it. Yeah, oh yeah, it's light.
Light right out of the hand, it looks like.
Right, top 12.
No, Peter. Lighten out wouldn't be horrible, because then Nova Scotia has to deal with it, because the Yukon can run it in all day towards the red, but Need to make sure they set themselves up well here. They don't want to be buried.
They actually dragged that way farther than what they made it sound like. They got it in there for second. It's edge on edge. Pretty good shot. Obviously, Nova Scotia, like you said, they're going to have to play this. There's a potential jam on their back, but a perfect shot here. They'd be able to cross the face and lie 4, 3 of them buried. Don't know what the call is here, though, with this broom, do you? Peeling the guard?
Too sure, to be honest, Peter, I think.
I don't think they outturned hit run straight enough.
Looks like they're going for...
They didn't make any indication.
They may get lucky here and get that yellow, as you were talking about, because that ice they were given looked like they were going for the peel there.
Yeah. That works. They clipped their back one. Is it going to stay? It is not. Not on our overhead anyway. It looks like it's out.
Yeah.
But they do lie 3. That curls up another inch, and wow, they lie 4 or 3 of them buried.
Yeah, it was an interesting call, but it worked in their favor for sure for Nova Scotia.
Tough spot early in the end now. Laurie trying to figure out how much of this rock they can see, whether the double is there or not, or maybe they have to play softer weight, make the roll. Double to me is not there.
I really can't see it. The way that the ice hangs a bit more on that side, it's not really breaking in. And those rocks are even.
Yeah.
Throw a bullet right in the crotch, which you can't even get to at this point. I think they would have a better chance running their yellow in.
She's got this one a hair wide of the target. Curls enough, she might just skinny double hit both. I don't think she'd kill both, though. No. Oh. Wow, really unlucky on the back. She jammed, so leaves them lying 3, and now great opportunity. This is one of these opportunities where, don't get me wrong, it didn't happen very much in my curling career. I'd still be curling instead of talking, but
The peel's the other call.
lying 3 this early in the end, you almost want the end to be over if you have the hammer here, but now you have a chance to draw in and lie 4, but you do have to protect it for a good portion of the end still remaining.
Yeah, it's one of those tough points for Nova Scotia. They want to put their rocks strategically where they're not setting up too many doubles, or even a double at this point is still good for them. They're still going to be sitting the other 2 rocks, but it is a little bit more tricky when you have so many rocks around the house, and just figuring out where to put that force. Sometimes it can hurt you more than help you.
Yeah, it's like when I used to play pool. I was so bad that so many of my balls would still be left on the table that the guy was playing. Sometimes he'd make a mistake because mine were always in the way. So this one here, no choice, I don't think, but to hit, make the double if you're going to try to hit your way out of this. Laurie plays a little different game, a little more aggressive. It looks like she's going to play the outturn draw here. And she can actually draw this right into the back 8 foot. Doesn't have to be in front of the tee line. Main thing is to get this rock buried.
I guess if they kept that guard around, they might as well use it here, eh, Peter?
This is a tricky move. She threw the other team's rock. I like it. You know what? All of a sudden, she's going to trick the other team into thinking that she's red. I've never seen that play before, but I embrace it.
This just goes to show the nerves running high, eh? You're just so out of sorts. I know yesterday I was worrying about getting in the way of the cameras and so forth, but hey, no harm done.
No, she had perfect weight, so that stone's obviously pretty closely matched to the ones that she's normally throwing. They'll have called an official timeout here so they can replace the stones. Get it back. It ended up in a spot where it is shot. It is fully accessible for Nova Scotia. I think the key here, Samantha, they don't want to roll underneath. They want to roll away.
I agree. You don't want to give anything for them to come to here, and the little roll away will just put the pressure on Yukon that much more, maybe force them to hit out in the wings.
Yeah, if they're to hit and roll underneath here, I mean, it's great that you're buried, but it also, we've seen that Lori's going to play aggressive. She'll play the freeze, and your rock might end up in a spot where if they freeze to it, your other 4 counters are going to be not going up on the scoreboard. So you definitely want to hit and roll away here.
Yep, going for the roll away, which is the right call.
Roll away.
Just got to hold the line here.
Yep. I got red.
Really nicely managed. Great call. Well swept.
Really good sweep, guys.
Big collection of rocks over here. Now it's an interesting dilemma for Lori. She's facing 5 counters. Currently leading by 1 in the 5th here. But we could have another one of those TSN turning points coming up if things go poorly. And now she's sticking to her guns. She's going for the draw again.
Well, they don't call you a skip for no reason, eh, Peter?
No, you got to have that draw weight. You got to be confident. Feel sorry for Randy. He's standing beside us here. He knows that he's just, I had to fire him during the last draw. So a huge shot here in the 5th. Lori just getting confirmation from her team on what the speed is, what they want her to throw. She's facing 5 counters. She does have the opportunity to bury this rock, though, anywhere in the 4 foot, all the way into the back 8. Love to be shot rock buried in a position where it's very tough for Nova Scotia to follow. This one's curling a hair.
It's coming up a bit light. They really got to sweep it here.
If she had the weight there, that would have been amazing. She does count out at least 2. So red only lies 3. That's actually not a bad shot. She cuts 2 out, and now there's a staggered guard situation. So if she ever did get one underneath, there'd be no run back or anything like that.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia is going to try to beat her to the spot. Selena's going to play the same out-turn draw. She makes this perfectly, just sort of 1 rock heavier than that yellow. Even edge on edge, it's a real tough spot if you're the Yukon right now.
I agree.
We're sitting 1-2.
Great sweep from the Yukon front end to bring it as far as it did. It was looking like it wasn't going to hit the house there, but Selena makes a good shot here, and really tough on Lori to ensure Nova Scotia is not scoring at least 3.
So an opportunity here for Selena to draw in live 4.
Feels light.
Go for weight. Don't rock it, room. Gotta curl. Really has to curl, guys.
This one's way out there right now, depending on the weight. I don't think it's going to get anywhere near the center line.
No. If it's deep, take it back. Take it back if it's deep.
I don't think you want to take it too far back.
Fortunate, the weight seemed fairly good there. Just getting that little bit more out in the rings. It doesn't come as nicely as a 8 foot in or.
The funny thing is my opinion, it's much easier to draw to a certain spot than it is to hit and roll to that spot. She's changed the shot here. Obviously, Lori really likes to draw. She's played draws this whole end, including her first. So she switched the shot. That's the good news. The bad news is for Nova Scotia, she makes this. I don't know how you get rid of the rock she's about to throw.
I agree. Just the perfect roll. She put a lot of pressure on Selena for her last. And
what do you think? Like right now, Nova Scotia lying 4. Final stone here for Skip. Lori Eby. 3-time Everest Curling Club Championship participants. They might want to get on this and sweep it the other way, see what happens over here.
Really hanging out there, but she may have a catcher with the other red.
They actually swept that. She could have got a little sneaky double. She's probably cut them down. It's a minimum of 2.
I know.
Could be Nova Scotia still lying 3. This will be an opportunity for 3 or 4 here. Real turning point in the game.
Only they're sitting 2 right now. We're sitting 3rd.
Oh, watch right there.
I agree. Great chance for Nova Scotia to get ahead of the game here.
Now, I heard in the microphone the Yukon feels that they're sitting 3rd shot. Again, we don't really have access to it ourselves. We're checking it out on the monitor, but this is a draw for a minimum of 3. Take a 2-point lead. Could be a measure for 4. Final stone here, 5th end, Selena Thompson. Needs to bite the 8-foot. She just threw it down this line. Last one tracked quite a bit, and she's got this one out there as well. She might have to play the tap because this is out.
Peter, I think that's
Miles
what they're
out.
going for now at this point. It's just tapping their 1 in the 12 foot up
Definitely an audible. I wouldn't be jacked if I was the other team that this happened, but no harm, no foul.
Are you guys good?
3 on the board for Nova Scotia. They will take a 2-point lead into the 6th end here of our feature game. We'll get you caught up on some other scores. Quebec playing Nunavut in the men's. They're up 7-2. Quebec, very strong team. In the men's as well, Alberta leads Saskatchewan 5-4. They're playing the 6th. Saskatchewan with the hammer. Ontario ladies beating New Brunswick 5-2. Ontario men just scored a big 3-ender in the 5th. They're trailing 2-0. They now lead 3-2 over the Yukon. Yukon with the hammer in the 6th. And our final game, ladies game, the Northwest Territories leads Quebec 4-3. So big turning point in the game there, but
What's that?
we talked odd, even ends and whatnot. You now have the hammer. It's the 6th end. In theory, you're going to have the hammer in the 6th end, the 8th end. You score 2 here. You force them 1 and 7. You score 2 and 8. You win the game.
Yep.
Control.
I
So
agree with
not,
you there, Peter.
not the end of the world if you're the Yukon. I mean, that was a rough end. They didn't. They got in some trouble early. Probably fortunate to get out with only a 3, and at the same time, Selena pretty fortunate on her last one there. She was wide on that draw, but able to make a tap.
Yeah, I agree, Peter. Definitely could have been a little bit worse for Yukon there. So I'm sure, as much as they're disappointed to give Nova Scotia the 3, in the end, it could have been a lot worse, as you said. So yeah, just get their deuce here, forced to 1, and come home 1 down with.
It's interesting. Like, I'd get very aggressive here if I was a Yukon because I do have the hammer and I need to score. I'm trailing, and they've chosen to trade hits. But maybe they knew something I didn't because this hit was missed, and you know, sometimes you know, right? Sometimes you know.
Yeah, I know she doesn't like that.
I
term,
agree.
so.
Interesting call. They didn't want to throw the corner there, but it worked out in their favor, it seems like, Peter. But
I don't know what you'd do here. I would either guard my own or I would throw a corner on the other side. It's very early in the end to split the rings and think you're going to protect your deuce for 6 shots in a row. Very hard to do.
I agree. At this point, I do really like the corner, as you were saying. Protect your own and then maybe generate the 3. Who knows? Be enough.
Exactly. You could get a miss. You could get a half shot. This is hard. You got to make 6 open hits in a row. Hit and stay 6 times in a row, and then on top of that, not set up a double. I think that's real tough.
Yeah. Nova Scotia's calling the right hit here, so if they get a nice enough roll, they can generate an easy double in the future shots for them.
Yeah, this is the setup shot. They definitely want to hit and roll over towards that other yellow. Kathy Donald.
Oh, just nosing. That spot is unforgiving.
Good. Sorry, Selena.
Didn't get the roll they wanted there, but all in all, not a bad shot.
Yeah, Laurie's going to have Tamar hit it.
Interesting call. She wants the inside roll here. I think a nose would be fine in their case.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting her approach with this end because she's played extremely aggressive in this game, and now she has hammer and 6, and she's switched tactics. Again, there's plenty of right ways to play this game. Everyone's always so concerned about what's the right shot, the wrong shot. At the end of the day, if you make enough shots, you're probably going to win. I always just try to score more points than the other team. That was my goal.
Can't blame you for that one.
You know, like analytics tells me I'm going to win most of the time that I do that. So I didn't do it nearly enough, but I tried.
You know, it's so funny because I'm sure back in the day analytics wasn't as important, but now teams really seem to rely on it, especially going into that 7th or 9th, 10 end, depending on the competition, and being up one without or down one with. Really has been a game changer. And
teams literally study the math now behind that, where I can tell you 100% as late as 2014, that wasn't even a consideration. Like, nobody cared whether they scored in the 7th, 8th, blah, blah, blah. They didn't know, you know, if we're playing your team, you guys, if you're one down coming home, you lose 70% of the time. Like that, we're going to try to be given an opportunity. We're going to be in that situation. Nobody did that. Nobody did that research. But it's all the teams do it now.
Yeah, I agree. I remember just keeping an eye on the players' weaknesses and keeping track of the rocks was normally those good old-fashioned rock books from all the different curling clubs. But now, yeah, it seems to be all statistics and what they can and can't do. And I think even, well, just having more TV time and being able to generate those statistics, Curling Canada has done a great job with that. And then as well of the different apps you can get. I know coaching.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It's a great way to show your team makes after misses, your outturns, your interns, where your weaknesses lie, and so forth, and how you play as a team.
One of our team's probably biggest weaknesses, especially if I was playing third, would be my skip would lose his voice every time I threw saying clean, because I just threw it that pure that it wasn't hurry, it was just clean. And like he'd have to say it so much that his voice would actually go away. And if you believe that story, God bless you.
I was going to say, throw it clean, eh?
I didn't say made the shot.
You meant clear in the house or clean in the house?
Yeah, I mean, depended. The strategy is still holding up here. Opportunity to split the rings here. Lie 2. Getting later in the end. We're at third's first rock here. Lorna Spenner. Lorna's been here 3 times. Actually, all of the players on the Yukon, this is their 3rd time playing in this national championship. Spoke to them as well. They cannot thank Everest enough for everything they have done to elevate this championship for the players. It feels honestly like a mini Brier, mini Scotties, a throwback Brier Scotties. Competition level extremely high, but the players are treated the way they are at any other national championship. Expenses covered, drivers, like you said, you got your club liaison, everybody. So it's been a great event. This is my first one I've ever been to, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I could definitely echo that, Peter. It has been a phenomenal experience, and the expenses covered has been huge, especially with such a tight turnaround for some teams that did have to do playdowns this year. You know, getting time off work in such a short period of time and things like that. There's always those sacrifices you make traveling to compete for sure, but having that support from Everest has been phenomenal.
That's a big thing. Nobody gets rich curling. There's just not enough money in the sport. So to have sponsors like Everest, the sponsors that get involved with the Season of Champions, the Grand Slams, it's just great for the sport because the curlers need that help. Most of them have, even at the professional level, real jobs. Unfortunate miss there. Like they'd set this end up early. They played the whole end. to trade hits, and then an unfortunate miss by Lorna lets Nova Scotia off the hook. They'd love to hit and stay now. They can turn this into a force.
Yeah, really unfortunate. It goes to showing playing the team's strengths. It seems like Yukon has been so good with their draw weight this game, and to all of a sudden transition their strategy to hits.
Don't jump it.
Definitely unfortunate there, but I believe Nova Scotia makes hits and sticks. What do you think if they roll out here, Peter?
I mean,
not gonna jinx it.
If they did roll out, though, there's no real opportunity for two. You probably have to blank, try to score your two, and then steal one. You might get a three as well. Like threes happen all the time in the 5-rock rule, right? But we have a final in the game next to us. Quebec men defeated the Nunavut men. Quebec evens the record at 1-1. Trading the flashes.
Wow. Unfortunate miss there for sure. Again, that's a really tricky spot. I know it was tracking down that line yesterday a bit, but definitely an unforced error there for sure.
Yeah, she's pretty surprised, but maybe just a hair soft. Key now, Laurie has to capitalize on this. Like, they played the whole end trying to score this deuce, played very open. Got an unfortunate miss out of Lorna, but now Selena's giving the ball back to them, and they have to hit and stay here.
Yeah. I think it's that strange transition. You're used to club ice, which this is club ice, but it's phenomenal. You have the best ice makers in Canada here making the ice for you, and they hit the rocks a bit, so you get a bit more curl than maybe you're used to, and that softer handle can sometimes not go in your favor.
Yeah, that's the one. Lazy handle. The problem is it never takes the same path twice. It's hard to manage weight. It's hard. Like, you definitely want to, any kids out there listening, just work on some of that extra rotation.
Yeah, just to get shot.
The higher the level you play, the more aggressive those stones are, the more aggressive the ice is, and you need that for sure.
Yeah, I know at Fort William, my ice maker has a separate set of rocks there, which all our teams going off to nationals, especially McCarville, uses, and they're almost fit. They're hit enough to get that arena ice curl, which is great for those teams to kind of help themselves. And we had the opportunity to play with them before we came here, and yeah, that
it's
rotation.
A different throw, right?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It forces you to put on that rotation, or else you'll be off the sheet.
Yeah, I was the fifth man for Jacobs at the last trials, and EJ's wife was due to give birth any day, and when the game they lost out, he flew home the next day, so I had to play one game, and I'll tell you, a lot of my draws coming to the rings were just dying quails at the end because the rocks are so aggressive. It's totally different from your average curling club. I think she's going to make the hits, hopefully have the weight to kill it. Again, I don't think Randy ever would have dragged that one out, but Mandy was able to. Open draw to the rings here. It's funny, this is the exact same spot that she threw as we went to the break. Remember, she had the draw for two here, so came up way short on that one. Hopefully she makes the adjustment here. Opportunity to tie this game.
Yeah, it does definitely help as a skip, and with these important draws to throw a path that you know and you've done before. So hopefully she doesn't overcompensate and throw it too much.
Exactly, yeah. We've all been there. Final rock, sixth end. Skip Lori Eby looking to draw the rings, tie this game, currently trailing 5-3. Lorna's running out again, and she might have pulled the string again on this one. They're going to have to work very hard. Maybe kick it. Hope the other team's not watching because this is going to come up short.
We got Lori.
Is that illegal to kick that rock? Is it? Like, I don't know. You can see her grabbing her head. Unfortunate miss. Held to a single. End of 6. Nova Scotia leads 5-4. They will have the hammer
Maybe if
for the
Randy
seventh.
was sweeping that, eh? You
Randy
think it would've
sweeps
got
that.
there?
It's probably a hog rock. Although Randy's got it in him to kick it, eh? He would. Randy's,
sure.
you know.
He's got that competitive drive.
Oh,
That's
does
all
he
it
ever?
takes.
He's a beauty. I tell you, he's done a great job with the players this week. He's hosting a hospitality room. He moves around table to table after the games, talks to everybody. Jennifer Jones, have you ever met Jennifer?
I have,
Yeah.
yeah. She was at right after she won the Olympics in 2014. She was at a junior spiel in London, Ontario.
Okay.
And yeah, we had the opportunity to hold her medal and take pictures.
Yeah.
And then she was at the Slam a few years ago in Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay, yeah.
Oh, she's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to be here, I believe, on Friday. And just a great ambassador of the sport. The other main ambassador for Everest is Cheryl Bernard. Have you met Cheryl?
I have not.
Like, Cheryl is honestly, people, one of the nicest curlers. No, she is one of the nicest human beings walking the face of the earth. She does a great job on TSN. She gives so much back to sport in Canada, not only curling. Could have made a better husband choice. Terry Meek, somewhat questionable, but no. Terry's a beauty. He's one of my good friends. I've known him for a long time. And it's great. It just shows you Everest. Not only are they involved with the sport at grassroots and seniors, they're with these elite level players and with the right ones that will give back to the sport. They'll mentor people. I think it's a great partnership with Curling Canada, and again, can't leave out the host here. You look around, and we got a full curling club here watching our afternoon action.
Oh yeah, it's been great. Ottawa's such a beautiful city. And funny enough, it was a little bit colder than Thunder Bay when we arrived, which we were surprised about. But normally we get a little bit colder weather. But
I lived here for 2.5 years, and I'll tell you, when it gets cold in January and February, you can't dress for it here. It's like it just goes right through you. So me being a bit of a wimp, I moved my butt back to Toronto where it's a little bit warmer, a little less snow. You're brave, though. You're up in Thunder Bay. You don't care.
yeah, no. Luckily, we get a bit more of the lake effect, but it's one of those things you just expect the cold, right? And you prepare for it, and it doesn't help to be freezing and then coming onto a cold ice surface, continue being cold. But all in all, no, it's
a beauty. If you
city.
spend enough time on the curling ice, then when you go outside, you don't feel nearly as cold because you're used to it. That's a smart move. That's a very smart move. No wonder you play 4 times a week.
Keep warm. But funny enough, it's the Lake Superior, funny statistic, it only gets up to 7 degrees Celsius. That's as warm as it'll get, even in the summertime.
Wow.
It's just that massive of a lake. So
I'm not a swimmer, I'm a drowner, so I wouldn't swim in that lake either way, but I'm certainly not going to jump in there now, knowing that.
You would definitely need some floaties there, Peter. It is very ocean-like, the characteristics of that lake, because it is so large. So not many people swim, but I know they do that polar bear dip.
I don't understand
I don't know if those people are human or what, because that is just got to be so cold. But
yeah, you got to check the IQs of those people, I think.
always for a good cause.
Just enough.
Need this just to curl up and chip this out. Barely.
The enthusiasm on
yeah.
this Nova Scotia team is great.
Pretty jacked at that. Just able for Sarah to kill that one. So they're in a good spot here. They're up 1 with the hammer. No center guard, so no danger currently for a steal. Again, I'm a little surprised here by Laurie's call. Being 1 down without. I think you have to throw a center guard here, don't you?
I agree. It's, lead shots. You want to set up the end, put a little bit more pressure on Nova Scotia.
Control.
And if they miss this hit, just gives reason for Nova Scotia to come in again.
Yeah, the key is there's just you have to apply pressure. And without any center guard, the out turn draws open, the in turn draws open. There's just, you have to do a little bit more than that, especially early in the end. It looks like they're calling to roll away from their corner guard here.
Would you go for it and get buried, Peter, or do you like this call?
I don't mind rolling open. I think the key is especially if you know they're going to hit this rock, just make sure you stay, right? Like absolutely make sure you stay.
I thought that was going to take off.
Well, they didn't get a roll either way, so
No,
how
that
about
was
that?
pretty much dead on the nose. I still like the center guard here. Plenty of rocks to come. This is just second's last shot here, Tamar. Just going to play the out turn, hit and roll behind the corner guard if possible. Good news is it's their corner, so if they do get back there, the run back is tougher. It's not red on the yellow, it's yellow on the yellow. So
Looks like they're calling hard for the roll.
close, but not quite.
Great try.
No, this is good. Same weight. Control.
See
Yeah.
Lori
That was
using
a
the
roll
hand
down.
signals there
Little more.
to
Yeah,
the
control.
sweepers. It really is, for only 6 sheets on, pretty difficult to hear, but teams are just navigating through the best way to communicate with each other.
Close.
Hopefully that that game beside them being off helps.
That should definitely help.
Yep. Hard for nose. Yep. Hard. Yep. Hard together.
Honestly
Yep,
thought
yep,
playing
yep.
today, yesterday was all ladies on the ice when we were live streamed, but today we had the intermix of the men beside us, and I thought it'd be a bit quieter, but I think it was louder today.
No. Dudes, they get all that testosterone out there. They try to yell each other.
Oh my goodness.
This is interesting. So we've been trading some hits, and now it's thirds first, and Lori's going to turn on the aggression. She's going to have Lorna draw around this rock, which is just half on the 12-foot, sort of acting as a quasi-center guard. I don't mind this call at all because I don't think the hit buys you very much. So
No, if they were to nose it, Peter, it looks like they're out of the rings anyway, so 2 corner guards at this point. May help them generate 2, but at this point you might as well find your draw weight now and put a little bit more pressure on Nova Scotia.
this one's curling again. It's not going to be what they called, but it's not the end of the world. It's short. It's near the center line.
What'd you get on that, Laura?
And Nova Scotia is going to have to choose. Do they draw around this, which I think you wouldn't mind if you're the Yukon. And if they peel it, then you just have an opportunity to play the same shot. They're going to get aggressive here. Play the draw with Mandy. Doesn't look like a ton of ice. Again, that last one was pretty light though, so we'll see. I think with proper draw weight, it'll run early like you say because of the wall.
Whoa, we gotta go.
Agree. Well, you hear the sweepers off the back. They have to go. It just seems like it's light here.
Whoa, off.
Yeah, this one's Gandhi.
What?
We're almost setting up the center guard for the Yukon.
Not deep is good.
Hog it.
Hog is really good.
That one looks like a Eugene Ritzik 1988, which allowed Randy to win his first Brier. Eugene throwing a freeze, came up 28 feet short. Not ideal. No amount of sweeping would have helped that one.
No, that was a good call by the sweepers to let them know it was light early and get off of it and let it be hogged. Sometimes that's...
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because that rock, if it got over the line, is just in the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very good point. So an opportunity here for Lorna to draw around everything. She came up light on her firsts. This one's got better line, but they still look like they have to try to drag it for the weight.
The ice is coming down a bit. I did notice that a little bit today and yesterday by the last few ends, especially after that 4th end break. It was a hair slower, but...
Yeah, speed. I don't know if does it flatten out a bit, or is it just the speed? It just gets that a second slower, maybe, or something like that, or.
Yeah, we were noticing about 0.5 of half a second slower almost at some points, depending on the spot. But usually that 4 foot in, which they were calling there, was still running really nice the later ends. But it was more when you're getting out in the 12 or edge of 8 where it was getting a little bit more fudgy.
Do you use the watches a lot for your draw weight?
Yep.
We do. My team really likes the hog-to-hog, which I prefer too. I know some teams favor the backline to hog split, but yeah, we just find we're able to adjust better and all around have a better idea of how the ice is running in certain areas. So
I mentioned yesterday my team wanted to do backline to hog, but I needed it to be 6 decimal places because I'm that precise. So, you know, a lot of teams will say it's like 4.15. That's not good enough. Like I need 4.14378 because I can adjust. It's just that small amount.
Just that little bit, eh?
Yeah. I was very precise with my draws, which is weird because none of them ever ended up in the right spot. So clearly they were giving me the wrong time. But
it must have been the sweepers, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Well, so you get me. You understand me.
You
like
just need to know how much to drive the knee down on some of those shots,
yeah,
right?
there's that. There's that.
Put the brakes on or speed it up with a little extra release.
Opportunity here now for the hit and roll. Buried. Laurie's first shot here in 7. Trailing by 1. This is going to be a beauty. Should be able to make the roll here. Oh.
Just had to get off of it a hair sooner.
That was a great throw.
Yeah.
But an opportunity now for Nova Scotia. I think here, if they hit, be interested to see where they roll with this one.
If we do that, I feel like she's just going to draw.
I think either way, Laurie, based on how she's played this game, I think the right shot for her is to draw.
Yes.
So if you roll away here, I think she has to draw. If you roll underneath far enough, I think she could loop it around. Well, she'll have no choice but to loop it around because there's no hit opportunity. So
agree. I don't mind the nose here.
Exactly. I think the nose, if you can just dead nose it, that way if she does make the draw, you can use that rock. You can run it back or whatever. I do like the
control.
I agree with you. Yeah, you know Laurie's drawing all day, so just make it a little bit easier on yourself if she does nail one.
And it makes the draw tougher as well because she'll be drawing around a rock that's half on the 8 foot. You roll away here and you're just inviting her to loop one in. So
Whoa for the roll.
Clean.
Close.
this one definitely is going to roll away, just a matter of how far.
Yeah, whoa. Yeah, big. Hard.
So that's exactly what Selena called. So that's a very good shot, but I think Laurie absolutely has to ignore that stone. I fear she might not. There you go, do it.
Yeah.
Play the draw.
Good call.
Timeout. Timeout is called. Do you want to go out and tell her to play the draw? Are you allowed to do that?
I don't know. Do they have a coach here?
I'm not sure. Did you bring a coach?
No, we did not.
So I'm available for timeouts for your team, just so you know.
Perfect. Thanks, Peter.
I charge a lot per timeout, but it's a flat rate, so you're good.
That's okay. If we can take you away from the commentating here, we'll take you any day.
Yeah, you're probably doing the audience a favor anyway, so. I don't think there's any question, and I think Laurie knows it. She has to draw here.
Yeah.
You try to hit and roll, the odds of making it much slimmer than the draw. If you drop 2, you're 3 down. I think if you draw here, you can do 2 things. You can definitely force, and it also allows you the potential to steal. So lots of upside. Downside is you drop 3. Well, dropping 2 and dropping 3 here is almost the same. So
yeah,
I know we don't want to do
this point coming into the last end, even if you're tied without, you have a better chance than
yes,
being down
you
2
do.
with. Interestingly enough, I was just peeking over at the team's times, and it seems like Nova Scotia is cutting it pretty tight with just over 5 minutes left of thinking time, but I know they still have their timeouts in their favor, and then Yukon here is just over about 7.5 minutes. Okay. So
there was a game last night in the men's. Nunavut had less than 2 minutes.
Oh wow!
To play the final end. Now they had a timeout, but needless to say, they had to press the accelerator to get in their first 7 throws.
They must have been watching Cooey too much.
Exactly. That's what I said. Looks like the coach has come out, and they're going to go with the. They have a coach come out?
I don't think so. I think it's
they
just
just
a team
decided
talk there.
Team talked. I like this call. They have to draw her. They got to the right call. Now it's just a matter of Lori to execute. It's funny, drawing away, she's made some excellent draws. She's had more trouble drawing towards, well, just in that one spot. She's missed 2 draws for extra points, or she'd be in the lead right now. But all of that is forgotten if she can sink this one in behind cover.
Yeah, and I really think if she could get, even if it's the back 4 foot, if she can just get almost right behind that red, it really makes it hard for Nova Scotia to have any hit, like run in for 3, so they'd be forced to draw for 1.
Yeah, 100%. I like the line. I don't know if it's got the weight. Looks a little light again, doesn't it?
I agree, Peter. They are really working it hard here, but
she's gonna miss the rings.
Yeah.
So she had her chance. Little mistake there by Lori, and now chance for Selena to hit the rings, take a 4-point lead, and then it'll be interesting to see if we play an 8th end or not.
Around the corner, I'm just worried about the floaty spot. Draw around the corner is like here.
I got a little worried there, and I thought I'd butchered the end, and there was more. This is the final shot of the end. Taking a little longer than I thought to call it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they were just talking about the ice.
Path.
Yeah,
the path,
ice
right?
they want to throw.
I was thinking we had more rocks.
Okay, thank God, because I was like, what is she talking about? Yeah. Good to know. I still got my mind about me. It's fine. Yeah.
Yep, that's
Yes, they
okay.
don't have anything in. I think it's slowing down, guys. Like
Would have helped you out there, but
Don't be too late.
it can happen.
No, I think it's like a.
Just in case this is the last rock, we'll do some updates. 6-5 Alberta men over Saskatchewan right now. Quebec ladies lead the territories 5-4. Ontario ladies lead New Brunswick 5-3. The Quebec men defeated Nunavut 10-2.
Can't hurt.
And Ontario leads the Yukon and the men 6-3. Just need the paint here. Final shot. Selena Thompson, Nova Scotia. They're out here trying to drill this one, get it any piece of the paint for 3.
Got Mandy coming out to help there.
And that's well swept. 8-4 Nova Scotia. Nice weight there by Selena. A bit of a mistake by Lori. She had an opportunity. She made the right call, just didn't execute the shots. And now pretty tough. Although, I believe, was it Team McCarville that scored a 4-ender in the pre-trials?
Yeah.
So like, teams see that on TV. Nobody's going to quit down 4 points anymore.
I know they gave up 5 in the second to Harrison, and they climbed their way back. I mean, that was a little bit earlier in the game, but anything could happen. You never know. All it takes is a few misses on Nova Scotia's part, and Yukon can be right back in it.
They're going to start chucking it through. You'll see a corner guard out of the Yukon, and then I think they'll probably throw another one through if they're Nova Scotia.
Really know. Right?
Can you imagine if it stopped?
So if the score holds, the Yukon will move to 2-1. Nova Scotia will be 2-0, but a good spot for both teams, really.
Yeah. Still lots of games left this week. Again, I'm happy they're not in my pool and I don't have to face them. But
exactly. So far, you're doing a good job of taking care of the teams in your pool. Big game tomorrow. You play Alberta.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm really excited to play those ladies. I know, well, even just talking to Manitoba, they had such a pool of teams. I think they had to come out of it against 15 other teams. There was 16.
At their provincials?
Yeah, at their provincials. And I know for the men, it was like 28 teams, like the max you could get.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. That's great.
That's the beauty of Everest getting involved in this and trying to build up this championship, is at the highest level now. There's a very low number of teams that can compete, and less teams are entering the provincials every year. This is that next level of play, and it's great to see the numbers go up because tons of teams have a chance to win. You have to play well, you've got to be pretty good, but it does really, this is the grassroots of the sport, and it's great to see it growing under the brand of Everest and Curling Canada.
Yeah, I can't remember what team it was that my team played at their last nationals in Leduc for the curling club championships, but they had said the team they played tried for years. I think it was 8 years as a team they had tried to make it to the national event, and
they finally got there.
Yeah, they finally did. So it's great to see the pool people are playing against and the amount of people coming out to play, and much needed for the sport for sure.
I used to bust Brad Gushu's chops because he finally won the Brier at home on home ice in, I believe, 2017. But I'm like, dude, like, are you really that? Like, it took you 14 tries. I said, I don't know if I've ever failed at something 13 times before. And he knows I'm joking, but he's gone on to win it twice more after that. Obviously picked up a huge title again on the weekend. Second time Olympics for him and Mark. I think it's going to be very tough. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'll put you on the spot here.
I like 5 rock roll, but sometimes I hate it.
Do you think that anybody can beat Team Mowat right now out of Scotland the way they're playing?
I don't know, to be honest. They are just lights out lately. They're playing phenomenal. Yeah. They're communicating as a team. Like, honestly, I think I don't know how much they curled over COVID, but it seems like it's done wonders for them.
They have to be the favorite going in.
Yeah, they have.
Like, they won 19 slam games in a row. Now, the good news for Mr. Gushu is he is the one who ended their 19-game streak, and then he beat them again in that event in the finals. So he has recent experience beating those guys not once but twice. But they're the only team. So they won 19 in a row, so they're 22-2. They've won 34 out of their last 36 games. Team Mowat. Like, they're incredible. But the 2 losses are to Gushu. Nicodine will be tough. And then the women's. I'm so excited for the women's. There's literally still the field to be determined, but I'm sure Eve Muirhead will come out of the qualifier, as will Japan. There'll be 7 or 8 ladies teams that could medal at that Olympic Games. That's going to be a barn burner.
Such a good field of women there for sure. And it's interesting because you saw our last Olympics, Homan not making playoffs, and coming off from such a high of a year. Like, it just goes to show the nerves and the amount of pressure placed at the Olympics. It'll be interesting to see if Mowat cracks, but all in all, I think they'll come out pretty strong. And
Rachel was 13 or 14-0 in the World Championship the previous year, and then she just got off to a slow start. It's a different beast, that Olympics. I honestly think Rachel, she would still be my favorite 4 years from now to get back. Like, I just think she is, her and Emma together are just phenomenal. They had an awful week last week. They'll put that behind them, but it's interesting. Maybe Mowat, he goes in there as a favorite. They could crack early. It's possible.
Sometimes it is nice to be the underdog.
Yeah, Fleury sort of rode that underdog role the whole Olympic trials. Even though she was the #1 ranked team in the world, I talked to the girls, and they didn't get a lot of respect from fans, other players, except they just, under the radar, went undefeated and then lost that nail biter to Jen. They'll be back as well.
Oh, yeah.
Couple more finals here. Ontario men defeat the Yukon. Ontario ladies defeated New Brunswick. Mentioned that Nunavut lost to Quebec in the men's. We have 2 other games out on the sheet right now. Got a tie game, Quebec and the Territories. They're playing an extra, and Quebec with the hammer. And Alberta leading 6-5, coming home versus Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan has the hammer.
Interesting that Lori wanted to hit there.
Yes.
When you're down 4, every rock counts, and I even find I'd prefer, even if you have to move a rock, one of Nova Scotia's rock, to play that tap back over going all out and hitting it out of the rings there.
That's a great point. We've seen that over and over in the games that we've covered quite often. Just too much weight where you could throw a draw, you could throw a tap back. Your rock's always going to be in play, and 4 down, you need rocks in play. So
now every rock has to count here for the Yukon.
Yeah, they're down to their final 4. I think they got to draw around this thing or draw around their yellow. One or the other freeze doesn't do much. It still leaves it wide open. I mean, let's be honest. They're going to need a lot of help to get back into this one right now.
Yeah, it's got to be perfect here. Like, definitely nose freeze, but hey, you never know.
They're going to get a lot? Is it bad? Oh.
I mean, the nice part here, if they feel like they're over curling and a bit heavy, they may just come around their corner guard there.
It's not out of the button for time.
Seems like it was a bit hot there for Lorna, so that separation is definitely not good for Team Yukon, but...
So a wide open hit here. Mandy Grace, opportunity to end the game. Move Nova Scotia to 2-0.
Gotta come up.
Soft weight. I'd be hammering this from the high side, trying to make a curl.
10-8.
Just enough. That'll do it. So make the final Nova Scotia 8, Yukon 4. Yukon moves to 2-1. Nova Scotia undefeated at 2-0. Thank you, Samantha, for joining me. You're off to a 2-0 start. I wish you the best. Good luck in your game tomorrow against Alberta.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thanks for having me today. It was a fun evening, and look forward to seeing you around the rink the rest of the week
100%.
here.
BC Northwest Territories men's tonight, 7:30. Please join us, and thank you for tuning in.